Story title: Fiancé cheated, confessed love for ex, and spread lies about me. My fiancé, female 31 years old, and I, male 33 years old, got engaged in October last year, and have been in a relationship for 5 years. Everything has been great, and I can honestly say that I've never met anyone who comes close to her. She's absolutely been the love of my life. I've known her most of my life. We grew up on the same street just round the corner from each other. Her mom and dad still stay in their old house, and I stay in the house I grew up in, which my mom left to me when she passed away in 2014. We still don't officially live together yet, but for all intents and purposes, she lives here. Her and her parents are close, and she still has her bedroom there and will occasionally spend the night there. So this morning, I decided to go take a walk to nearby shops to buy some things. I was about halfway down and realized I had forgotten my face mask. Masks are mandatory here in shops since the 10th of July, so I had to walk back and get mine. When I walked in the door to grab the mask from the kitchen table, I heard her speaking to someone loudly on the phone in the living room, and she said, "Yeah, but David will always be the love of my life." David is her ex-boyfriend. I don't know a great deal about him, but I know they were in a relationship for 2 years and it ended a year before we started dating. He also dumped her. I grabbed my mask and walked back out, and just as I got to the shops, I felt weird and I had to sit down, as my mind was going in 1,000 different directions. I eventually got back home and immediately told her I feel sick and sent her back round to her parents' house, as I didn't want her around. I'm now lying in my bed wondering what to do, to be honest. I know she didn't do anything wrong. It's not like she cheated on me or intentionally went out of her way to hurt me, but what's heard can't be unheard. She said that the person she's agreed to marry isn't a patch on an ex she's not been with for 6 years. The fact she said he will always be the love of her life also means that it's a void game. Her heart's already been taken and there's nothing I could ever do to change that. Also, what would happen if he did come back into her life? You can't turn down the love of your life when they come calling, and I'd be dumped quicker than yesterday's leftovers. So how do I navigate this? Tell her I was earwigging and heard her say that shit. Just end the relationship for a completely vague reason like, "Oh, it's not you, it's me," etc. Swallow my pride and pretend I didn't hear it. Everything has been great, but there's no way on this earth I want to be someone's second choice, especially when her ex is the one on her mind that she obviously would be with if she could. I'm thinking about just saying it's not working between us. She's now texting me about coming round tonight and spoiling me, because I'm the sickie. Screw that. Story update 1. I was gonna update sooner, but I've spent the last 3.5 days in a drunken stupor, so my apologies, but I'll warn you, this is not a good update. So after posting and receiving some advice, I was thinking of inviting her to come back on Thursday night so we could talk, but settled on Friday morning instead, as I wanted to get my head in a clearer state. She still thought I was ill, so I needed a bit of time to think it through what I was going to say. She comes round on Friday morning at about 8, and I think she could see right away that something was wrong, as I must have looked stony-faced as you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. Anyway, I said to her that I wasn't really sick, and that yesterday as I was going to the shop I forgot my mask, and came back to retrieve it. And when I got in to get it I heard her talking in the other room about David. Her face went completely pale and she started welling up, so I instinctively stopped talking and just stared at her. She then runs into the toilet, locks the door and starts hysterically crying. Now alarm bells are going off all over the place in my head. Her reaction made me think she didn't know what I heard, so she must have said some other shit about him as well. I knocked on the door and told her, if she has any aspirations of saving this relationship, she had better tell me everything right now. 30 minutes or so go by, and she finally comes out dabbing her face with a tissue, and tells me, David got back in touch with her 4 or 5 months ago, and she had been sleeping with him once or twice a week since. All I can think of is that the snippet of conversation I heard her having was her friend or something helping her choose between David and me. When I heard this it hit hard. I threw her out, grabbed handfuls of her stuff, put it in bin bags and threw it out the door into the front garden. She's still standing there, by the way. I then grabbed my garden hose and drenched the shit out of the bags with it. It was extremely petty and in hindsight, I should never have done that. She at this point has run round to her house and about a minute later, her dad comes rampaging round screaming. Her dad and I end up rolling about the now quagmirish front garden fighting, at about 9 a.m. in the morning. Police vans and everything ended up turning up, and half the street was out because of this. Afterwards, I blocked her on everything and went to my friend's house, where the three of us spent the weekend, and on Monday they took off to work, while I'm on furlough drinking. When I got back in the house this morning, I noticed she had been back in the house at some point, made the beds, done the washing and ironed. I have no idea why she did this. As I'm writing this, she's tried to get in again. I haven't been able to change the locks yet, so I put the door chains on the front and back door, and from upstairs heard the door opening, and the chains clanging as she tried to get in. There's also a note that she's put through the door. I don't even want to read it right now. I'm too hurt, hungry and hungover to even think about what she has to say. Story update 2. Since everything that has happened, things have taken a turn for the worse. I sent an email to her father, explaining my side of the story and apologizing for taking things public and embarrassing his daughter. But as I said previously, I acted instinctively. I didn't apologize for fighting him, as I was reacting to him coming at me. He told me to shut up and accused me of biting his ear for some reason. About a week ago I went outside to find my car keyed, right down from the passenger side wing mirror round to the boot. Last Sunday I was walking down the road, to meet a friend at the Arches, where we occasionally hang out, and as I was turning the corner the locals called me a disgrace. I said, "How am I a disgrace?" and she told me that I'm a disgrace for beating up my ex-fiancée. Let's be clear here, I've never laid a finger on her in my life. Either her father or someone else is perpetuating this lie, and me throwing her shit out and hosing it, has given this authenticity. I haven't spoken to my ex, and she hasn't tried to contact me anymore. I think they're all on the same page now, that I'm the bad guy. I've got the ball rolling in putting my house up for sale. I can't live here anymore. I wish I still had my mum to lean on, she would make things better. Further update. I am still in my house and I will be renting it out, rather than selling it. I can't in good conscience give up something that was my mum's, and has been in the family for generations. I have spoken to her father and I don't understand why the family circled the wagons. But to throw me under the bus so brutally, was genuinely ridiculous, and apparently, to use me and my name as collateral damage is alright. As I only known them for my entire life. All in all, I feel like I was in the midst of a shit shower that changed its course. Still struggling but feeling a lot better now that I've got an umbrella and a roadmap. Also would like to note that I posted on social media, giving my side of the story. Whether that was right or not is up for debate, but it was after I had let those close to me discreetly spread it first, so I felt the time was right. Her side is still singing off the same tune, but hoping neutrals will see things from my side. My close pals have been incredible throughout all this. Update after 1 year. Well, it's been over a year, and I have since moved out of my house and am now renting it to an older couple, so thought I would update you. I'm doing great and have even got myself a girlfriend, so wish me luck. What did I learn? Shit hit the fan fast, but I stood strong, and for the first time in what seems like an age, I'm looking forward to the future. We only get one life, right? Spending it with someone who would treat me like trash would be a waste.